Welcome to Light Beyond the Ashes, the podcast where science meets spirituality and awakening becomes embodied. I'm your host, Amber Humphrey. My next guest, Ma'ilei Vega, is not just a shaman. She is a living bridge between realms. She carries the medicine of her ancestors in her bones, works with the elements as if they're her family, and channels healing through the pulse of her drum and the breath of her flute. But what makes Ma'ilei's story unforgettable is the moment everything changed. A moment of rebirth that unfolded in a river during a sacred ceremony. A moment where she was held by water, witnessed by spirit, and returned to a truth older than time. We are not separate. We are not broken. We are one. In this episode, Ma'ilei shares the journey that led to her awakening, the path of self-discovery, the calling of her lineage, the remembrance of her own divine power, and in doing so, she invites you into your own remembering. This conversation is not just something to listen to. It's something to feel, something to awaken to. It's a whisper from the parts of you that have been waiting to come home. So take a breath, open your heart, and step into this sacred space with us. If this episode nourishes you, stay connected by liking and subscribing, not for the algorithm, but so you have a space to return to as you continue your own awakening journey. Welcome back to Light Beyond the Ashes, the podcast where we talk about all things spiritual and woo-woo and weird. But really, this is just the most natural thing that's ever happened. And I'm very excited about this week's guest. I have Ma'ilei Vega here with us, and I met her on TikTok, like I've met all my other beautiful friends that I've interviewed. So Ma'ilei, tell the world a little bit about who you are, and then we'll kind of jump into your awakening story and all of the gifts that you've unveiled along the way.
Okay. Well, yeah, my name's Ma'ilei, and I grew up in Utah. I learned how to become a shaman, which was wild to me because the native spirits have always kind of spoke to me throughout my life. I've had a lot of different family members, different tribes that have reached out to me. I even have Polynesian family members. And so different types of tribes and different types of medicine has come through my life since I was little. I was an only child until I was 11, and then we got foster kids, and they were all different diversities. And so I had these different areas coming in all over the place. And that's ultimately when I started learning about who I am and becoming, that. And, learning the shaman path it's very lonely. It's called the Red Road. That's what we call it. And I didn't get taught. So I had Don Miguel Ruiz is one of my favorite authors, but he ultimately became one of my teachers through book form when I was young. And so that taught me at a young age, like who I was in that sense of I could tell and feel in my body that there was this native side of me that just was waiting. And so, being on that path, being an author, being somebody who does energy work and works with all sorts of different energy modalities. I do shamanic drumming. I do, some flute work with sound frequencies. I do all sorts of different things. And I think my favorite is just intuitive energy healing because anything can come through. Whatever I channel through spirit just comes through it, whether it's Akashic records, whether it's blueprinting, whether it's DNA coding, whatever comes through, it's whatever's for their highest good. And so I don't like to pinpoint one thing in that aspect of me. And so I just kind of like to be a jack of all trades. I like to
Yeah.
dip into everything a little bit and learn enough that if it needs to come through, it can.
So do you have native blood in your own lineage as well?
I do. It's very small, but it was so funny because when I did my ancestry, I was blown away because it was I'm so white, obviously. Um, but it's very pioneer and just very like that. But then I have 1% native in my whole lineage. but it was really speaking to me, and so I started diving in. I started learning about these, indigenous people and what they believed in, what their traditions were, the ancient ways, the honor. And what's cool is I remember as like a really young kid, always feeling that honor and like that sacredness to specific things in my life. For instance, women. I was always very like that with women, like, they were sacred to me, they were like, I don't care what happens, you treat them with respect, like, I just grew up knowing certain values, and then even with the elements, fire, water, all of it, I knew to treat it with honor, and I don't know how I knew that, but that's just what was in me since I can remember.
So, when you were going through this journey, like it sounds like yours was kind of more of a slow evolution of awakening the soul versus like how I've expressed mine is like a snap. Like I think I always had intuition and I was always kind of I was right a lot about certain things, but I didn't understand the spiritual connection. I always believed that we were spiritual beings. I didn't really resonate with religion. I did all of those things that you're supposed to do when you're in America and you're a Christian, and I, got baptized, confirmed, and that's what I chose that in my teen years. So I kind of
Mm.
was always questioning things too. Like,
Yeah,
um, I feel like religion didn't connect with my spirit the more I like dove into it. And that's okay because that's my experience and it might resonate for other people. But then when I started diving into the spirituality side and learning about Christed consciousness
yeah,
and our ancestors and the power of the witches of the past, the power of the shamans of the past, like those things that are kind of taboo to talk about for some people, I guess,
mhm,
depending on the culture. But then you zoom all the way out and you look at the whole world and you're like, wait, no, there's shamans in every like small village that hasn't been touched by Western colonization. Like
yeah,
you'll see that they use plant medicine. You'll see that they use the earth to heal. You see they use the elements, earth, wind, fire, water, and then ether.
yeah.
And how did you feel like yours evolved? Was it that slow burn or
So,
was it fast?
yeah, mine was very interesting because it came in, like, moments. So, like, as a kid, I remember those moments, but I even wrote in my book of poems, there's a poem called Patience, and it is literally my higher self talking about my human. And it's seeing everything that's happening, and I literally say, "I'm gonna have to take a step back and watch from a distance until you tell me that I can come home again."
Mm,
Because it's like things would start to come through and I would start to get it, but then a limiting belief or something that happened in my 3D life would literally push it out. And my soul was like, "Come on," but it couldn't latch, it couldn't get there. And so I just kept being patient with myself and my learning and everything. So I would get moments of clarity and information of wisdom throughout my childhood, but very, very small moments. And so it was like this piece here, 5 years later, this piece here. But then I got to a point where I got married. And when I got married, nothing wrong with any of us. Like she's an amazing person. We just didn't mesh in certain ways. And she taught me everything I needed to know to get to the path of actually remembering.
mhm,
And so when I left, it was when I ended that, I knew I had a knowing in my heart that when I ended things, it was going to bloom both of us. Like, I just knew that, and it was such a hard thing to choose, but I knew I had to choose it. And so it
yes.
took me 3 days, but I finally did that. That's ultimately when I broke out and I was like, "I'm done. I'm done living like this. I'm done sitting in this. It's time to remember." And I dove like headfirst straight into myself. I had therapy weekly, life coaching weekly, and I asked for homework and I did every moment of it. When I asked, or my life coach came to me with her and her girlfriend, and they came to me and they were like, "If we could have any client that was like any one person, we would choose someone like you.
Wow.
And it was because every time they gave me or she gave me shadow work or anything, it doesn't matter how hard it was, I dove. And I didn't just do it like half-assed, I did it.
Yeah.
I had panic attack after panic attack, diving into this shadow and doing all of this internal, like, deep work, and I just kept doing it.
Yeah.
And I was just tired of it. I was like, "If I can at least get through this, I've been through so much in my life. This is nothing. Let me get through this in a year, and I'm done."
Right.
That's how I felt. And so I just kept swimming, kept diving.
So I think a lot of people who see spiritually awakened souls and we're finally like out of the closet.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's so much of an isolation and hiding who you really are as you're awakening, as you're healing, because it is so different. And like, that's the
Yes.
entire purpose of this podcast is to share the hidden stories, the hidden truths, because a lot of people will see us and like you on your TikTok, you'll talk about how, oh, my name is Smiley Miley. I just smile all the time. And I'm like, everyone thinks that I'm happy and I'm just doing
Yeah.
great. And I'm like, oh no, I've cried a tsunami of tears. Like I've rocked back and forth and contemplated every single thing about life.
Yes.
And to now hear and see you reclaiming Ma'ilei
Yeah.
and that this is who you really are. And I'm finally like, this is me. I am Amber and I am unafraid of speaking my truth and sharing stories of other people. My whole goal is for one of our stories to resonate with someone who's listening or watching, right?
Yeah.
Because there is so much sorrow when you're going through healing. And I think a lot of people don't know what a dark night of the soul really is. And for me, it was like diving into the pits of hell. And like,
Mhm.
hell is on earth for me. And I know what it looks like and feels like. And I know what isolation feels like, even though I have people who love me. And like, if I see them, they'll hug me and they're like, you're the best. I'm like, cool, cool, cool. I'm healing my 3-year-old self. And my 3-year-old self is not great. My 13-year-old self was not great. And so it is messy. Healing
Mhm.
is so messy sometimes, but you have to learn how to regulate in that mess because when you get to the other side of it, it is beautiful. Like I get to meet people like you. And like just I saw you on TikTok and then I said, "Hey girl." And you're like, "Hey girl." And now we like text all the time. And I'm like, "Your
We
soul
just
family."
sleep overnight, it's
This
fine.
is the first time I'm seeing your face live and not through, like, my screen and I can scroll,
Yeah.
But it's just so different, but that dark night of the soul, it, like, cracks you open. It cracks you open to the realest you that ever existed.
Yeah.
Is that how you experienced it too?
Yeah. I mean, so I've had many. Um, it doesn't stop at one.
No, it does not.
So when I first started diving into the shadows, because ultimately we're supposed to love every piece of us. And that means even the hard parts, even the parts that we hide, even the parts we don't want to see. And so as you dive into these shadows, it feels like you're finally opening your own eyes to see you because you believed the masks that you put on. And
Right.
so not only are you opening your eyes and having to shed belief systems about yourself, but you're actually having to see the parts you don't like
Mhm.
and learn to love them. And in my opinion, that's what creates a dark night of the soul because you have to look at your dark and you're in it and you either choose to love it
Mhm.
or you don't. And that's the thing is that every moment of this journey has been these crossroads,
Right.
and it's always a choice, right? And so through my dark nights of the soul, I think the hardest one and it's always deeply connected to your biggest, passion or your biggest belief system. So
Mhm.
for me, I'm a lover. I have the biggest heart in the world, and that was my biggest dark night of the soul. It had to do with love. And I
Mm.
had to go through a moment of extreme betrayal and show up with love.
Mhm.
And that night, I remember physically, I couldn't handle it in my body. And I don't know how my soul knew to do this, but I couldn't physically, I was not okay. And
Right.
I really had to say to my higher self, to my ego, I had to, like, pull them outside of my body, and I had to say, "You guys need to come out of this vessel because my body's about to, like, freak out." And I had to, like, pull them out to hash out their differences of, like, feelings versus like, the betrayal and the higher self going, "You can love still, you can understand, but I'm feeling betrayal and anger and rage and all these things," and I was just like, I can't."
Yeah.
Pulling them outside of my body is the only way that I thought and knew that I would be okay,
Yeah.
and that was probably the hardest night of my life,
Like
and
it
it
just
took all
changes your.
yeah.
So when we are now all waking up on earth, whether people are consciously aware of it or not, like we are seeing expanded consciousness happening, elevation of consciousness happening, spiritual awakenings, however you want to phrase it and call it. This is ancient wisdom. It's cyclical. Like this is just kind of known. Our ancestors knew these things.
Evolution, yeah.
Evolution, like human evolution is expanded consciousness, right? Like remembering that we are one. That's what this is. Like you finally just remember that you're not alone, that
Mhm.
maybe you're not necessarily from here. Like you are from somewhere else, that there are
Yep.
interdimensional beings of light that are with us. There's higher self, there's highest self. There's, there is wisdom to be discovered and you have been numb to it, you have forgotten, there's amnesia. We did this on purpose. We chose our life paths, we chose the characters, we chose the roles, we chose all these things. We're like, I'm going to do this. And I literally picture it as me like standing, I don't know, on a star. I'm supposedly from Orion. So I'm like one of my fractals or something. And so I picture us just like holding hands, be like, "You ready?" And we just like skydive backwards. We do a trust fall into the universe. We're like, ready to go to Earth? Let's go. And then we get here and we're born and we forget, or we're little and we get programmed,
Yeah.
right? And then the programming in those early, like the four agreements, the book that is amazing that tells you like the agreements that you make early on with your caregivers and the people who are supposed to love you, who might not always show you the best way forward. And they have their own patterns and their own healing to do. Like that shapes you and who you become. But we chose it. Each of us chose it.
Yep.
And that's extremely painful. So sometimes I be like, I chose this shit. Like what?
That's the thing is we're brilliant. So even
Yes.
you said it might not have been the best way. It actually was.
Right.
We are so smart. We put the best thing in front of us to teach us.
The best
And it
teachers.
may look like the hardest thing in the world, but it was the best teacher for that moment, for your life, for that evolution, for that moment of that veil to be lifted and remembrance to come through. We did
Yes,
it on purpose.
we did. It teaches you resilience. It teaches
Mhm.
you oh my god, it teaches you your self-worth. It teaches you to not accept less. Like, the things that I've learned from the betrayal that happened to me, I've had a lot of, like, heartbreak, I guess, through the betrayal in different ways and in different forms and through different people, but it was, like, this one catalyst back in 2023 that just, like, like,
Yep.
exploded me open, and I was like, "I can't take the next step. I don't know how to take the next breath. Like, I have to
Yeah.
heal my nervous system."
Mhm.
And so I started doing vagus nerve stimulation. I started doing reflex integration. I started doing breath work. I started doing those types of things, Ayurveda, yoga, meditation. Like that's how I started healing my nervous system. That's what I teach. How did you start healing and finding the light and, beyond the ashes for yourself? What was your strategy?
So it comes to that same thing. When I went through that dark night of the soul, I got betrayed. I won't go into a ton of details 'cause there's no
Right.
right or wrong and everybody's, I have nothing but love.
Right.
But I had to go through a betrayal, and what it did is it shot me into so right before this happened, I had a spiritual mentor ask me to apprentice with them. And
Wait,
I
say that
was
one more
I
time. It broke up. Wait,
Yeah,
say that one more time.
I had a spiritual mentor reach out and ask me to apprentice with her. And I was like, "Oh my gosh," it made me feel special, right? So it was still part of the ego. So it made me feel a certain way and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like this person doesn't ever accept anyone like this." And so I was like, "What is it about me?" So I got in my ego, right? And
Mhm.
so then I said yes because I wasn't listening to my heart. I had one lesson with this person. One. That is it. One lesson. And my soul and my body, I could feel the 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 dissonance. It wasn't resonant with my soul.
Mm,
And I didn't really understand what that meant yet, but I could feel that in my body, and so I just kind of, like, slowly took a step back. What happened is when this betrayal happened shortly after, I got shot into taking the step for myself, and I went up to the woods for 3 days by myself, and I said, to my spirit guides, "I couldn't go to Peru, you stopped that from happening. I couldn't have this spiritual mentor, you stopped that from happening. What do you want me to do?"
mhm,
I have chills, but, the trees and the fire and the water and the wind started teaching me,
mm.
and I started hearing them like they were my best friend.
Wow.
I could feel them in my body connecting with me, and I dove into meditation with them. And when I dove into meditation with them, it became this complete surrender of connection, embodiment with them.
Mhm,
So as I did this, I called in each element one at a time. First, I started with Mother Earth, and I said, "Mother Earth, I'm here. I see you. I am you. Help me remember. What I want to do to help heal people is XYZ.
mhm,
Can I ask you to connect with me and allow me to use that as a channel, as a vessel to help people heal? Will you bring that in for me?"
mhm,
And she told me yes. So then I said, "Okay, I'm going to bring in wind, and I want you to connect with wind too, because now you're one with me, and I'm going to ask to be one with wind, but I need you guys to work together."
mm.
And I did this for each element as I pulled them in, and I honored and loved and respected them. They are beings. They are some of the most magical beings I've ever worked with. And so for me, having that friendship with them became so beautiful. And in my meditation, so in that instance, I had Mother Earth there. We were one. I could feel it. It's like she let my feet grow into roots and become one with Earth. And then when I called in wind, I wouldn't move to the next element until I watched the wind and the earth merge and become one. And when the wind came in and blew through the trees and the trees were swaying and everything was flowing like this dance, I said, "Okay, we're good to move to the next." So then I added water, then I added fire. And every time it just became one with all of them. And
Wow.
so as I was learning from them, then Mother Earth started bringing me animals and insects and different types of medicine to teach me. I had a crow come up to me and do the weirdest noise I've ever heard in my life for 7 minutes. And I said, "Okay, guys, I obviously don't speak crow, but I know that my soul knows what he's saying. So help
Yeah,
me." And I asked. And because I asked Mother Earth to help me with that and my guides to help me with that, a few days go by and all of a sudden it's like download, 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 download. Oh, got it.
right.
And that's how it started teaching me.
I just think it's so magical when you finally give yourself space away from the noise, right? The noise of technology, the noise of cities, the noise of relationships, the noise of your expectations and your duties, right? And you just go find your still point in nature. Like, that sounds amazing. I've never had 3 days in nature like that before. Like, I want to go to a retreat so bad in, like, Puerto Rico or Costa Rica or Peru or wherever, right? Like, let's manifest this shit together
We're
because I am ready. I am ready. Um, I just like to go to a silent retreat even to where
Yeah.
there's no technology bombarding me, and I think that it sounds to other people, maybe a little out there, to think that the trees are speaking to you or that the earth is speaking to you. But this is what our ancestors who did not have 5G
Yeah,
experience. Like, this
yeah,
is what they did. They looked at the stars, they wondered the meaning of life, and or they knew because of stories passed down through lineages, and they worked with the elements.
yeah,
And natives working with the elements. And I've talked about this on Tony's episode of the TikTok history teacher. We talked about the Fibonacci spiral and natives doing rain dances with different frequencies and drums and actually calling in. They had 70% accuracy to call in rain, and it's just, there is wisdom that has been kept from us. And when we
yes,
finally can just like pause for a moment and think, what if there's more? Well, what
yeah,
if this is just curious for me? And I go stand outside in the grass and my heart rate feels better, like it reduces. And I feel calm when I go hug a tree. And you
mhm,
might look weird and I don't care. Like,
yeah,
you just tap in. There's something so magical about nature. And I remember when I went to Arkansas, I'm on Mother's Day weekend this year in 2025, and I went mining with family friends, and we mined for clear quartz crystals. And I was like digging clear quartz and chunks of clear. I was just like, this is so cool. And I joked that the earth is pooping out crystals. And I'm like, this is just for the taking. This is just here. And then when you hold it, you feel powerful. And that very first night we got there, it was a long drive from Houston all the way to Arkansas, right? And I'm camping on the ground, laying in my tent, and my body is vibrating. And I
mhm,
was like, what am I feeling? And I was getting download, download, download. And like, downloads are just you hear. Like, I hear and I see and I feel and I know. And I'm like, whoa. And it was such intense energy. And I don't know if I ever told you this, but do you know what they told me? Spirit, talent, or whatever the crystals told me?
no, I wanna know.
They said, you are the mycelium network. Humans are the mycelium network, over and over again for all night long, from 1 o'clock in the morning until I woke up. You are the mycelium network. And it'll never leave me because I have chills now just thinking about how like the fungi are,
Yeah,
they've been here for forever, right? And they're
yeah,
underneath. And when a tree is dying, the mycelium will help to heal other trees and they will go to each other. And like the Fantastic Fungi documentary on Netflix, like taught me so much to appreciate fungus and the power of mushrooms and the power of healing, right? And then to think that us humans walking around on the earth on the external surface, we are the mycelium network. And then
yeah,
when we connect and we go to others, we can help others heal. And our energy, we are the alternating current, and our light exudes out from us 7 to 9 feet from our heart vortex. Like,
yeah,
that makes us the mycelium network. Like,
yeah,
we are all connected. We just have this illusion of solitude, this illusion of isolation, this illusion of being alone, especially when you're suffering
mhm,
or healing. You just don't understand how connected we are until you get information like that, and then you'll never forget it.
yep. And it's funny, it's cool that you brought that up because in the path that I've taken, I've seen so the connection you're talking about with people, that's the connection I've had with everything.
Right.
And so when that starts to happen, for instance, with mushrooms and with, there's a lot of spiritually awakened people that start to dive into certain things, right? And I've seen it. I've been in it. I've been in the whole spiritual community. I've seen how things work. And we have to remember that there are patterns and loops because what I see happening is to so many people getting stuck in a loop still
Mhm.
in spirituality. And
Mhm.
so I'm seeing it. And so to give you an example, when I started diving really far into like the spirituality, a lot of that kind of stuff started coming up. And I did try, psilocybin. I connected with the plant. Um, and it was beautiful. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
But what I saw is a lot of people in that community wanting to do it all the time.
Right, versus ceremonially.
Yes, and that was the difference with my heart because I'm very sacred about stuff. And so for me, I was like, "Whoa, I don't wanna
Mhm.
do this every weekend." Like, that's not how this works. And not only that, but you have to give yourself time to integrate.
Right.
And when you first start on this journey, it takes a minute.
Mhm.
Like, it's not just gonna take a weekend, you know? And so as I was watching this, even as I did, multiple different sessions, into a journey in that sense, I started recognizing that the same constructs, the same belief systems were coming up every time I did the medicine. And I was like, why am I doing this? And so I actually went to Mother Earth. I went back up to the woods like I do. And I said, why is this happening? And they told me, because it's already part of your DNA. You don't need that.
Yeah.
You can ask to connect whenever you want. If you want the wisdom, you don't need the high. You don't need the thing that everybody's not everybody. I know that that's not everybody, but you don't need that high. You don't need the thing that a lot of people are getting wrapped back into that loop
Yeah.
because of. And so I was like, oh, okay. And since I haven't done any, and I've just walked this, but there have been multiple times I've had the wisdom from that plant, from the teachers of that medicine, come straight into my body and be able to help me have that wisdom come out for whoever's in front of me.
Yeah. I
You know?
mean, I think that there's just so much to be said about everybody going on their own journey and finding what works best for them. And to hear you say that even without that medicine, it can come through you because you're just open to it and you're in a space of like pure consciousness, pure love.
Yeah.
Like I have experienced channels and downloads that are inexplicable. They
Mhm.
have guided me, they've warned me. Um, I don't necessarily I live in the middle of suburbia USA in Houston, and there's not a lot of beautiful nature around me, so I don't just get to go to the wilderness
Yeah.
all the time. But my backyard has become my holy land,
Yeah.
right? And like the grass grows all around us like richer and lusher than it ever has. I think because me and my children, my husband are grounding in it every single day. My front yard is a disaster and a half. My backyard is like lush gardens. I don't even want to cut the grass on the
Use
back
that
because it's
magic
like
in the front.
flowers. I've got flowers growing. I've got banana trees because my neighbors grow like a whole garden in their backyard. And when the fences fell during a hurricane, we rebuilt the fence. They gave us banana trees. So we have banana trees growing in our backyard. And that for me is like, and even though there's cars going by and motorcycles like literally behind my fence, that is my sanctuary
Yeah.
because I sit there and I talk to God and I talk to Mother Earth and I ground in. When I'm crying or I'm sad, I'm like, I got to go put my ass in the grass. Like last night I did it. I'm dealing with some real 3D stuff right now. And I was like, I'm going to go sit my ass in the grass
Yeah.
because I need to reconnect with who I am, who I really am. And I sit and I stare at the stars and I know I'm not from here. I've never felt like I was from here.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of us star seeds or light workers or people who have felt outcast, people who felt different, people who feel too much, deep empaths, right?
Mhm.
Highly sensitive people, autistics, neurodivergent humans who have pattern recognition. Like you see it and you're like, oh my God, how does no one else see this? It's such an overwhelming experience to be a human sometimes.
Yeah.
And so going into Mother Earth, I'm telling you, it resets me. It just
Yeah.
resets my nervous system. So the fact that you have connected with the shamanism and using the elements, now that we kind of know how you got to where you are, how do you use your gifts? How do you help other people with your intuition, with your healing? What does that
Yeah.
look like?
Mhm. So it's been such a journey because Spirit told me when I started this that I was going to bring in ancient ways into a modern world that's never been done. And I didn't know what that meant. And so I just had to take the leap and say, okay, I
Hmm.
didn't know that my trip to Peru to go study with a shaman was gonna get canceled and that it wasn't gonna line up. I didn't know that, all of these things were gonna happen and I was gonna have to go learn from the elements themselves. I thought I was gonna have a mentor, a teacher, so like a physical person, right? But what happened when I did that meditation we were talking about is I really embodied and connected with the elements, and what I did is for Mother Earth, I asked her to connect with my drum.
Hmm.
I said, "Can I utilize your heartbeat frequency to help others heal?" And so when I do my sessions with my drum, I bring that frequency in with Mother Earth. She allows me to do that. And so as I'm drumming, I've had clients that literally, like, for a week after, they're constantly having to drink water, make sure that they're flushing things out because so much blocks and things are just flooding out of them because Mother Earth's heartbeat is literally going inside their cellular DNA,
Mhm.
helping them shed, helping them release. It's reminding them that sound. It's think about it this way. If you're in your mom's womb, you can hear. You can hear the heartbeat, you can hear all the things. You
Mhm.
remember that.
Mhm.
Then you're born, you don't remember that you can remember your mom's heartbeat,
Right.
but you can.
Right.
And so as Mother Earth's heartbeat starts going through your cellular DNA in your body, remem memories start coming in, wisdom starts coming in.
Yeah.
And so that's one way that I pull, one of the elements into my healing work. The other ways are, you know, endless, but fire, for instance, fire can transform, it can destroy, it can transmute, it can warm. Like there are so many things that you can do with fire and water. Um, and so pulling those in, it's all about intention, right? So as I'm connecting with these elements, I'm asking to be a channel to hear and understand what this person in front of me needs. And if this person in front of me needs release, I'm going to pull water and
Mm.
Mother Earth.
Right.
Because what's going to happen is the water is going to allow those emotions to flow and Mother Earth is going to hold them.
Right.
So doing a river plunge, one of the most beautiful moments of my life, changed my life forever, was the first time I ever did a river plunge. And I had been going through so much. It was still pretty early in the beginning stages of me stepping into awakening and ascension. And my life coach was there and said, "Let's go do a river plunge." And everyone else left but me and two other people. And I was like, "I'm down. I'm in. I don't know. This sounds like it's gonna suck, but I'm here. And I wanna do it." Because I can feel I have a lot of emotions that need to come
Yeah.
out. So I get in this river and my entire body is just like shaking and like I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And it wasn't 'cause it was cold.
Mm-mm.
It was because of how much emotion was trying to come out of me all at once. And my life coach looked over and saw me, and she could tell, and she was like, "Oh." And so she knelt down in the cold river and held my head up so that my head didn't go like, hit the rocks or go under. And she said, "I've got you. Release everything." And I just wave after wave after wave of just I could feel it from head to toe just
Yeah.
flowing out of me over and over and over. There's so much gunk in there, so much crap that we've learned from society, all of it. And she held me and let me be in that moment of emotion. And she was whispering affirmations in my ear. And I'm telling you, that alone, using water and yourself to heal, you don't have to be a shaman to do that.
No.
You don't have to be anybody to do that.
It's funny because you think about baptism, right?
Yeah,
Like you immediately like think about Yeshua, Jesus baptizing and being in the water and having John the Baptist baptizing people and how like he was put in prison for it. Like how
yeah.
dare you think that you're not a priest? How dare you do these things, right? And I've seen people do like these revival, retreats and they go and they dunk in the water and you see them come out and they're like screaming when they're coming back up out of the water. And like, I am moved to tears every time I see it because it's just, it is different for witnessing it in the
Mhm.
water, like in the natural water versus like a bathtub or like at a church and those kinds of, not to say it's not as powerful, but just witnessing it in the raw nature, you see people expelling darkness. You see people expelling sadness and grief and rage, and it just comes up out. And it might look a little crazy. Like I've seen some people where you can see the darkness coming up out of their eyes, and then you see the peace wash over them,
Yeah.
and like I was baptized. I chose that life, right? I chose that when I think I was 13 when I got baptized, 15 when I got confirmed. And I remember being like questioning a lot. I was like, if Jesus was a Jew, then why am I Christian? I remember that question. I was like, well, I'm confused. Got questions. No one could answer me. And I really feel like the more we learn about the power of water, the more we realize that like we are this living, breathing entity that has, like, we're made of 70, 80% water. We have plasma in our fascia. We have Dana Kipple on already that we talk about the plasma consciousness and how it lives in fascia. It lives all around us. There's 99% dark matter and it is plasma, and how it all is interconnected. It's how can it not be? How can the elements not be connected to us? Like we're in this field and it's creation. Like water is creation, wind is creation, the plants are creation, the earth is creation, we are creation. It's all one. Like when you understand that we are one means we are one with the leaves
Yeah.
and the trees and the birds and the bees, right? Like we are all one. And I think it's powerful because I was getting chills feeling you in that water. Like I can almost visualize you in that
Yeah.
water and you coming out a new person. And then you
Yeah.
continue to evolve every day. We continue to evolve. Like who I am a week ago is different than who I was a month ago and who I was a
Yeah.
year ago. Like I am completely different every day. Every
Yeah.
day I learn something new. And I think when every time you think you're at the finish line, God's like, hold my beer. Like there's more, there's more coming for you, my friend.
Yep.
But it's like you accept it and you embrace it and you don't feel punished by it. You feel polished by it.
Mhm.
And it's just, I think that when we talk about these stories of how we did find the light beyond the ashes because we had to go really deep down and we are all the phoenix. I'm not just the phoenix. You're not the phoenix. Anyone who decided to choose themselves for once and to put their focus and their love to them versus everybody else, it might look selfish. It might look a little crazy. It might look
Yeah.
delusional. It might look messy. But when you don't have judgment for it and you just walk through it and know that you're safe and you tell yourself, I am safe when you're losing your shit and you're crying and you're screaming, I am safe. I am safe. Like this is it's a life altering experience to go through awakenings.
Yeah.
And it's constant. Like you said, there's not just one dark night of the soul. That's such the misnomer of, oh, did you have a dark night of the soul? I'm like, which one?
Yep.
Which
All
year?
70 of them.
Yeah, I think I'm at like 55 now. And it's that unraveling of the programming of the illusion of this
Yeah.
fear matrix. But the fear matrix is that you're afraid of finding the truth of yourself.
Yeah.
And I think it's just such a beautiful reminder for everyone who's listening, who's like, shaman, you're what? What is a shaman? Like working with the elements, that's weird. Like maybe it is.
Yeah.
But maybe if it gives me peace, that's all that matters. Maybe if it
Yeah.
gives someone else peace, it's all that matters. And I do want to give you a huge shout out because you, on a whim, helped me do a little drumming circle. That was like a 3 to 4 minute drumming circle. And I'm working with someone who's going through cancer and she's gone through a lot of pain. And I worked with her again yesterday. And you know what she told me? I still listen to Mailei's drumming and it gives me
Aw.
chills every single time. And she
Yeah.
listened to it in her car this week. And she was like, I got full body chills. I started crying. Like
It feels right now.
it's been like a month or two since you've recorded this for her.
Yeah.
And she still listens to it. And when I listened to it and I played it and I put it over her belly because we were working on her abdomen of where the cancer is, she got up off the table and she's like, I don't have any pain.
Mm.
And I'm like, the power of frequency, tuning forks, Reiki, healing, and love,
Yeah.
right? It's just, I'm so grateful that I met you through a random TikTok and shared it with our tribe. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's my friend Ma'ilei. And I was like, hi, thanks for introducing me to her.
Like, way to hold out,
Why
man.
are you holding out on my new spiritual bestie? And I just think it's so freaking cool. Like I'm curious. I'm interested. I think the
Mm.
world is curious and interested versus judging and being like, who does she think she is? I think it's like, damn, she knows who she is. That's
Yeah.
cool. Right?
Well, and that takes time, right? And, the one thing that stood out to me as we were talking is because I grew up, religious as well. So
Mhm.
I had baptism, I had all those things, in a different church, but, same.
Yeah.
And for me, there's so much ritual but not sacredness,
Mhm.
like not true sacredness. And this is why for me, I connect the way I do with the elements and I treat them the way that I do. Because it is like finding your divine union,
Mhm.
your person. How would you treat them?
Mhm.
That is how you treat every being because we are all connected. We're all one. So as you're doing this, when you're bringing in ritual and you're doing these baptisms, I didn't feel that at my baptism,
Mm-mm.
but I felt that in the river.
Mhm.
And the difference was it was sacred and it was treated as such. That person seeing me for probably the first time in my entire life and showing up to hold me when I needed it and allow me to feel and be human and not be made to feel like I couldn't be, that's sacred.
Mhm.
That's not ritual, that's sacredness. And that is when the real magic happens. And so, as you're speaking about the drumming and these things, the reason it's coming through in such a way is because she is taking it sacred.
She is.
And it was sacred to me. So, when I got that opportunity to create that video for her, I saw orbs of her spirit guides there. I saw them. I felt them. That isn't me.
Yeah.
That's the most beautiful thing is this work and this healing, it's not from a human body. It's coming straight from source. I am just
Yes.
a vessel here to bring it because I'm listening and remembering. And so for someone to see that as the sacredness that it is, that's why it works.
I mean, I think it's just so beautiful that I can call upon a group of women and say, "Hey, I need help.
Yeah.
I'm doing this and it's working, but I need more. I need your frequency. I need your healing. I need your emotion code," right? Like
Yes.
I tagged in, Laura Chappell, and I've like been sending her stuff and I'm just like, I need everybody on deck right now. Brittany Renee, I've got all you wonderful healers
Mm.
helping me to send this woman light. And then she tells me I've done more in 1 week in 1 day than I've done in a week. And then
Yeah.
it stayed with her for a week. And I don't care if it's placebo effect. Do you care? Cause I don't care. Like we helped somebody feel better. Like
Yeah.
that's all that matters. And it's
I
like,
mean, I don't believe that it is. I
yeah,
believe it's doing something.
I do too. But people will say skeptical, oh, well, that's just placebo. Do you care? Because I don't care. If I gave you something that gave you peace, if I now have you feeling better. And after that session, after we've been working with her, what she told me yesterday?
What?
That she went to her psychologist, psychiatrist, and she's like, hey, I don't take my anxiety meds anymore because I don't have anxiety anymore. And I'm like, hell yeah. Like I might not be curing cancer. Maybe I am. But maybe I'm helping with pain reduction with Reiki.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm helping with sense of peace and self-love. And she's gone out into the world. And I know she won't be afraid of me telling this, like sending love into the field for people who've hurt her and saying, I love you and I forgive you. If I could give that gift and be a part of that person's role in that journey in that way, then I have done what I've come here to do,
Mhm.
and I think it's quality of life. Like with
Yeah.
my mom in hospice, like it's not about necessarily saving my mom's life. It was improving the life that she has.
Yeah.
It was improving the peace that she experiences, improving the love and the forgiveness and acceptance of all others. That's what she's walking through.
Mm.
And it's like miracles don't always look like total healing physically. Miracles look like time. Miracles look like love.
Mm.
Miracles look like forgiveness. My dad came over this week and my mom and my dad had a really, really hard battle throughout their lives, right? They did not always get along. They got divorced when I was 1. I am 39 years old. My dad came over to my mom's house this last week and sat with her and said, I'm sorry and I love you. Please forgive
Wow.
me. The Ho'oponopono, right? Like, and
Yeah.
she did. That's like mission impossible. You would have never thought in a million years those two people could have been in that level of peace together. And it's just like, that is what God does. right? Because I embody that with them. I embody this forgiveness with them. I've told them I forgive every single thing that's ever happened because all of us have experienced pain with our parents in
Yeah.
some capacity or our caregivers, right? But I forgive them because they were a part of my journey and I'm a part of theirs. And like to have that level of healing is a miracle,
Yeah.
right? And so I just think that humanity waking up looks different for every person. You experience it differently. Like you and I are not walking the same paths. Like you
Right.
do what you do. And I always say that God is not duplicitous, right? Creator is not duplicitous. Like how boring would it be if we were all the exact same? Like we wouldn't have variety of skills,
I'd be
variety of healing. Like please do you and I'll do me. Like I'm, I'm never trying to be like you. You're never trying to be like me. We just get to be ourselves. And the liberation of an awakening is being the you is to you that ever you'd. That's what I say.
I
You know,
love it.
I'm writing books and I'm like, oh, I'm a writer now. This is cool. That's the youest me that ever me'd. You
Dr.
know,
Seuss.
and I'm very Dr. Susie now. I'm like, what the hell is this? I can rhyme. My daughter said, you know how I know you channeled that book, mom, is because you can't rhyme. And I said, facts, facts, baby. And so it's just, I think these gifts manifest differently for everybody. And yours being able to work with the elements and being able to get downloads and drumming and frequency and healing, like it's magical,
Yeah.
Ma'ilei. Like your work is magical. And the minute I met you, like through text, I was like, oh, hi there, soul sister. I've missed you. Where you been my whole life?
You
So
know,
go ahead.
uh, well, so for me, it's magical for me too. Like the elements are magical. They're very magical. And so for, to give you an example, when we went to Michigan, this group of ladies, which um, I I came in and I gave everyone a hug, and the first thing I did was walk right down to the water because there are ancient tribes buried underneath the Great Lakes, and I knew that. And so I walked right down to the water to pay my respect and to immediately honor them. And what's so cool is I did that, right? And then the next day I got told that I needed to pay my dues.
Mm,
And so I went on a 33-mile kayak trip across the Great Lakes by myself with my drum.
dude,
And I don't know why, but I did. I don't know how I made it. I haven't worked out in years and I haven't kayaked since last year. And I've never gone 33 miles.
that's insane. I love it.
But what was so cool is even though my body probably couldn't have made that on its own, I got all the way across. They couldn't see me. I couldn't see them. I couldn't even see where I was going because it was gone. That's how far I went. When you think about 33 miles, you
Yeah.
can't see where you
No.
just came. And I'm like, I'm exhausted. My arms hurt. I have blisters. I had blisters on my hands. I still have marks on my hands from these blisters that I got from doing this work. But what I said was, I will pay my dues for everyone over here that's doing this work with me. And I went on this trek. And on my way back, I said, I don't know how I'm going to make it. And I talked to the water and I said, I need your help. And I can't make this up. I was aiming for this specific pole on the mountain because I was like, I know the house because I'm pretty good with direction. I knew the house was right around there. And so I aimed for that. The water kept pulling me just ever slightly back the whole time. And I would redirect and it would pull me back, redirect, pull me back. And I was like, okay, it took me right to the house. Like, I'm not kidding. Directly to where I left from.
Wow.
When you connect with elements, it is magic. I can't explain it. I have full body chills because what I saw was water show up as my best friend and take me home.
That's so beautiful. And I know you also worked with fire too. You worked with fire
Yeah.
while you were down there or up
Yeah.
there, I guess.
I embodied fire that weekend as well. And I've never experienced fire like I did that weekend. it was really
And that
incredible.
weekend was transformative for everybody that went, right? Like in bigger ways than anyone could have expected. And I wasn't
Yeah.
there. And like I was helping transmute and do all the healing on the other side of it too. And still, we still kind of are. Everyone's still integrating. I think it's just so beautiful because, we do these spiritual bestie weekends and you kind of never know what you're going to get. And Indy for
Mhm.
me was like magical and I was playful and I was like, I joke about like I was a golden retriever and I'm just like jumping up and down and I'm like, I'm so happy. Like there's videos of me and I'm just like a spaz, but it's because I finally felt like I got to be myself in a room full
Authentic.
of women who understood it. And I didn't have
Yes.
to like mask or hide. I'm like, I just get to be me. Like the level of liberation that you get at these weekends is just unbelievable. Right. But that weekend was just different. It was different, but transformative. And it's like kind of like walking through fire. That one kind of felt maybe more like fire.
Yeah.
And my indie was a lot of emotions, a lot of water, a lot of crying that was kind of coming up for some people, but beautiful healing for each of the people that
Yes.
came to each of them. And then Utah was, oh my God, like, that story is going to come out. By the time this one airs, that one will have already aired. And
Sweet. I
Utah
can't wait.
Utah was transformative and released a lot of darkness in myself. And it was a very
Yeah.
physical experience. So when you step into these arenas with women who are powerful healers who don't know that they are, like some women who already know the capacity of what their skills are, and even those women learn more. And then
Yeah.
there's newbies who are just like, hey, I want to heal. And I'm like, you ready? It's going to be a lot. Let's go. And then you step into that space and you're like, I wasn't ready. And it can be a lot for people's nervous systems to be in the power of someone who knows who they are. And we're
Yeah.
mirrors, we're reflectors, we're alchemizers. We are just beautiful transmuters of energy. And emotion is just energy in motion and it
Mhm.
it comes up in very physical experiences. Some people, I'm not going to say who, but one of the beautiful women had a Kundalini awakening, like a little Kundalini spiral awakening. It was like the most intense experience. And I watched her TikToks and I was like, damn, that sounds intense,
It was.
you know? But like, I just think that this is the time of the divine feminine rising and finding that the balance of the divine feminine, divine masculine within each of ourselves. And like earlier, you said something that I want to circle back to is like when you find unconditional love, like you send it, that's how you treat every other person, but you also treat yourself that way now. And like you forgive yourself for your quote unquote flaws. You forgive yourself for any mistakes or things you might have done that you might regret, but you can't live in regret. You're just like, no, that taught me something. And
Yeah.
so when you balance the doing with the nurturing, and you don't always try to control everything, which a lot of us who've been hurt, we try to control. I know I do because I I had people I could trust and count on, but then there was like people who would let me down. And so I always had to like make sure it got done.
Mhm.
And that was me being hyper masculine, hyper controlling, and not nurturing and loving and feminine. And then when I cry all the time and I can't pull my shit together, I'm like, oh, I'm too feminine. And
No?
it's finding that delicate dance of balance. And I'm a
Yeah.
Gemini. I'm a Gemini. And so it's just
Yeah.
like there's duality there.
Yeah.
I am both. I am so both. And my husband's a Gemini, and we couldn't be more different if we tried.
Wow.
Yeah, Gemini, super fun. Super fun.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just yin yang. We are the divine twins, the divine pair. And without that love, I don't survive it. And so your story, you had to lose love. And like
Mhm.
I lost in different ways. My love has been here with me since really I was 19 years old, 14 when we met. And now I'm almost 40. And it's like
Yeah.
I've never lost that love,
Yeah.
but I've lost other things. Right. And
Mhm.
so it's life is the great teacher. People are
Yeah.
great teachers. Don't you agree? Like the people who come in and out of our lives are what shape and mold us into becoming our highest versions of ourselves.
Oh, 100%. And the thing that's so cool for me is, like, I've been through a lot of heartbreak. That has been the way that I chose my path, was to go through it through relationships. And I've shown up with unconditional love every time and felt so not seen. Like nobody understood what unconditional love was. But what I've recognized now is how blessed I am to have been able to love my whole life. Time, like, even I so there was one person that came into my life, random person, okay, and I'm telling you this because it's the craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life. Someone I probably would have never had talked to when I had my masks on because of perception or whatever. This person came into my life, and she showed up for me in a very dark moment, and she said, Thank you for allowing me to love you for lifetimes in this moment.
Whoa, that's deep.
And I went, oh, you're right. If I get 1 second with you, I had a lifetimes of being able to show up in however I show up. And that's why being present is so important
Yeah.
because and treating everybody with that unconditional love because that is you. So as I'm connecting with you, as soon as we started texting, told you I love you.
Yeah.
And it's because I genuinely do.
Mhm.
And even just the text messages, I've never met you in person, but I know I felt like we've lived lifetimes together.
Yeah.
And I've been your best friend. I've been your sister.
Yeah.
I've been, people somebody in your life that just cares about you. And that time doesn't exist. So that is I got to love you unconditionally for the moments that I've already had.
It's so
And how
beautiful.
cool is that? It doesn't I hate that so much society takes it in such a different way.
Mhm.
I want pure love.
Mhm.
That's why these bestie weekends, that's why these people connecting is so huge. Like you're saying, you showed up and you could be authentically you because everyone there loved you.
Yeah.
That changes something.
I felt so safe. I felt
Yeah,
both of them, both of the weekends that I've gone to, and I couldn't have afforded to go without the help of the people who got me there. Like, people flew me
yeah,
there, people let me, like, not pay, like, the full amount. Like, I was just, like, so loved because I was going through, like, financial disasters, right? But I was like, "I need to heal, I need a tribe, I'm alone, I didn't have a mentor." And then, like, when I met each of you, even if it's just virtually meeting you, and through TikTok, oh my God, TikTok has helped me heal so much because I found people who
mhm,
were like me and I wasn't alone anymore. Like, it healed my soul in a way that therapy, medications, grounding never could, right? Like,
yeah,
my best friend tribe here serves such an important role, but my soul tribe that I met from strangers, and I, like, by Friday I don't know you, and by Sunday you're my soul sister. Like, I know you and I love you, and I'm like, I know everything about you, and I'm like, how do humans let their guard down so quickly with a stranger? But we
mhm,
do because we feel safe. Because again, it was sacred. Like, we
mhm,
knew when we were walking in there, it wasn't just a weekend to go get drunk and have fun at a house, and, like, it wasn't
yeah,
there's no alcohol. Like, we're literally doing cacao ceremonies, and we're dancing, and we're healing, and we're doing drum circles, and we're doing journaling, and we're talking, and we're doing tuning forks, and we're sitting in water or kayaking for 30 miles. Like, you just you never know what's gonna happen on one of these spiritual bestie weekends. Thank you, Ashley, your spiritual bestie on TikTok, for making
yes,
this dream
thank
come
you.
true, and Jen, on TikTok, and Above Average Jen, and Jesse, motivator coach, whatever. I can't remember everyone's handles, but it's just like
Yeah,
these women had an idea years ago that we would do spiritual bestie weekends. And then I remember them in the corner in Indy, and the three of them, Jen, Jesse, and Ashley, were like, "We did it. We did it. You see this little circle? We did it." And I'm like watching, and I'm also like, I'm vibing, and I'm like, "Oh, you guys, we did it." And it's just like being able to talk to y'all, each of these beautiful healers who present their healing in unique and different ways, is just an honor. I feel
yeah,
so honored to know you in this lifetime, in this moment. And I know it took a really long time for us to meet, but at the same time, like, it was right on time.
yeah,
And, like, you healed me. Your love healed me in moments of, like, recent, like,
yeah,
it's October of 2025, and I'm like, "How do I still have more healing? I've been doing this for years and years." And I'm like, "When the hell is it gonna be done?" But then you say exactly what you need to say that I need to hear, and you feel me, and I'm like, "How are you feeling that you need to check in with me? Because yes, I'm having a day."
yeah,
But the messages that we get are through this unified field of consciousness, and so it's like, you can sense me, I can sense you, and there's just it's love.
yeah,
Love transcends all time and space.
yeah,
And I think that we're embarking on such a beautiful time for humanity because it's oneness, it's peace, it's community, it's harmony,
yeah.
and we get to finally heal from frequency instead of being in dissonance. Like, we're finally going to have that heart brain coherence where everything is in alignment.
I am so excited.
Me too.
Like And I'm seeing it in real time. Like, it's blowing my mind. But, I mean, I'm here right now at my other friend Amber's house because of the same thing.
Yeah.
We knew each other, she was somebody who helped me heal in a lot of ways, but we only hung out once. And she went through her hermit stage, and I came back from Michigan, a completely different person, and when we got on the phone, it's like we've been best friends for life.
Yeah.
It was a complete like, as soon as our frequencies matched, it just was like,
Yep.
and it's so cool because there's so many people around us that's happening, and that's
Mhm.
communities are coming together. There's things happening right now because that resonance is there. And it's like the more people that get into that heart center space of that love and that unconditional love, that pure love that has no restrictions, no rules, no societal things behind it. I can just show up in love because that's who I am.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean anything that they tell you, like, it's not sexual, it's not any of these, it's just pure love.
Yeah. Ugh.
When that happens, it's like the amount of creation you can do with a group of people that feel this,
Yeah.
that's what blows my mind,
Mhm.
and eh, that's what we need to do. We need
Absolutely.
community, we need those connections, and I'm so grateful to have met you guys on TikTok and to have been able to come together because I was just like you. I
Yeah.
had no one.
Yeah.
I've had friends up and down through my life, but nobody could get deep with me.
Mhm.
Nobody understood me because I've always been deep. I don't
Mhm.
do the surface stuff.
No.
I'm like, I wanna get right down into the nitty-gritty roots of everything because I don't wanna be this person for the rest of my life,
Right.
and
Ugh.
nobody in my life understood that. So to
Yep.
have a group come together where, like you said, like the authenticity, was the same way. This was my first weekend with this. And I was like, I didn't even think about putting a mask on. I had zero thoughts of anything that was out in society. Like no belief system. I showed up and I was me. I don't know how, but it just the frequency that everybody held all together, it just comes out. I was dancing like a fish, like, I
Yep.
was like, "What?" Like, and I didn't get weird when I was, like, honoring all these things, like, Mother Earth brought me a beautiful preserved butterfly and a honeybee and all these things. I was crying to the group, and I was like, "You guys, like, you need to honor her. She is taking hits for the work that we're doing." And I was bawling, and I was like, "Please, this week, I need all of you to go out and show Mother Earth some love." And in a normal setting here with people that, like, don't really know me, they'd be like, "What was this girl? It's like, she's kinda
Mhm.
crazy."
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Like, why is she so upset that a bug is dead, you know? And I didn't feel that at all.
What message do you have for the collective that is either newly awakened, awakening, unsure of what's happening in their body, or fully awaked? What do you feel like the collective of humanity needs to hear as we embark on this journey of creating the new earth?
I would say to lean into connection. So I call it spider medicine. This is how it came to me in my teachings, was the web of connectivity. So as I started grounding up and down and grounding my body, I also ground out into the web. And I asked specifically for my soul tribe, for my soul family to come in through that web of connection. And it did. And when that happens, everything about your journey explodes forward. So if you can connect and truly connect, let the masks come down. There are so many people ready to see you that want to, that want you to. And there's so many people that you're going to help by doing it. And if you do that and you connect with those soul people, we are going to change the world. And the reason we're going to change the world is because of those connections. It heals more than anything else I've ever seen, and I work with a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I would say to connect, deeply connect with people. Lose the masks of judgment. Lose the masks of fake perfection. We didn't come here to be perfect. We came here to be human. We are living a human life. It's okay. But find those people that can do that with you and watch what happens.
Absolutely. Amen to that. Like, I'm so blessed that I get to be on this journey with you and all of them and every single soul I meet, and to be able to be given the privilege of sharing your story. And I can't thank you enough, Ma'ilei. So cool. So, where can people find you so that like, if anyone resonates deeply with your story or wants to learn more about your healing, how can they find you?
So, first things first, TikTok is always my number one place that I post, that I talk to people. It's been a huge connection piece for me. When I called in spider medicine, that is what came through, was TikTok, and to start sharing. And so, my name on TikTok is Remember Who You Are, Inspire. You'll see my face. And you'll see all the drumming videos, all the different videos of talking about my story, different things like that. But please know you can absolutely message me. Um, I am not afraid. I'm pretty sure my phone number is out there in a lot of places. I'm not afraid of the connections. So please reach out. That is something that I encourage people, and there's a reason I don't have a website.
Yeah.
It's because the people that are ready for me and my way of healing and magic, it's connection. They're gonna find a way to connect and release that fear.
Ugh, I love this so much. I can't wait for our moment when we finally get to hug and meet in real life. Like, it's gonna
I
be
know.
I'll just be
It's
like,
gonna
"I
be so
finally."
happy.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma'ilei. I cannot wait until the world gets to hear this story. And, if you ever have any questions, reach out to me at lightbeyondtheashes@gmail.com. I'll connect you with whoever if you can't find them. You can find me on Light Beyond the Ashes at TikTok and Instagram and everywhere as well. But again, the world needs more love, guys.
Yeah.
We are in this together. We're rising together, and we are not alone. You are safe. You are safe. You are safe. Lean into the weird and the woo woo because you never know what peace and love you'll find on the other side. So, as always, when I heal, you heal. When you heal, I heal. And then when we all heal, we rise.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Stay one more day. Each of us did. And we are so grateful because the best is yet to come. Until next time, this is Light Beyond the Ashes. Bye, guys.